Hello again, everyone. This is Zombie Kids Rule, and I'm finally trying to get an explanation up for that hit point icon display demo that I did a week or so ago. The one with no sound, and I was just showing what it did because I wanted to be able to show it to somebody else. And I'm finally circling back and trying to get an explanation up of that. I am going to show it again because I actually changed it quite a bit simply because I realized that the way I did it wasn't matching with the way that combat usually works and the hit points of the actor, and so I said, you know what, I want to change it a little bit, but just show the mechanics of it, show the functionality of it. So I will do that. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you know that my caveats are that, I'm not an expert. I don't claim to be an expert. I'm still learning RPG Maker MZ, and I'm trying to learn JavaScript right now. So I don't claim to be an expert. I'm not claiming this is the best way to do something or the only way to do something, or that there's not a plugin that does it already or does it better. I'm just sharing things that I've learned how to do because it helps me, learn what the engine can do, what I can do without plugins, and it just helps me, and I hope it helps other people if they're trying to learn as well. I've said I don't do fancy maps right now because I'm just trying to show functionality. That's what I'm focusing on. And I usually give a big shout out to the folks over at rpgmakerweb.com, the forums over there. A great group of people, and they will help you if you're willing to learn and if you're willing to put in the effort. They are always willing to help answer questions. So let me show you what this does now, since I changed it, since I modified it. And essentially, the idea was, can you show, for instance, what I did, I was lazy. I used icons. So this is an icon that's available, and I used that to display the health of the character. Basically, one heart for every 100 of health. So they're in the 500 to 600, so there's 6 hearts. Displaying health, the number that is currently the hit points, and the icons. And of course, this is just for one character, which is the main party member. All right, so that's what's doing. Obviously, in a you might want to do a bar graph. You might want to put this with the character's photo and other information, their name. But this is just the mechanics of how to simply do this. So here we go. It's stationary. No matter how I read, however I walk, it stays on the screen. I'm going to go over here and let this character smack me around a little bit. So she's going to hit me for 75 points each time, and you should watch. This number is going to go down, and once it goes below 100, basically it goes below 500, one of the hearts will go away. So go ahead and click. Oh, now it's down to 469. One of the hearts went away. Hit her. She hits me again. Another heart goes away because it's down to 394. Hits me again. Doesn't, and the heart doesn't go away because it's 319. Now I'm going to go up here to a new map, and the indicators are still here, right? And I'm going to go ahead and let her smack me around again, remove one of the hearts, and I'll go back here. The health and the number stays the same, the heart stays the same. I go down here and I'm going to heal. So as you see, the health is going up and the hearts are coming back based on the health. And I can keep clicking this, but it doesn't matter because this character is at max health. And then if I let this, just hit me enough where the hearts go away to the end, I allowed this to do character death. Okay, so now I'm down to 19. I have one heart. If they hit me again, and game over, right? Character death. Okay, so how did I do that? And again, this is just the basic mechanics so that you can get the idea of how it works, and then you can, modify it to do whatever you need it to do. Like I said, you might not want to do a bunch of icons. You might want to have one picture that has like a bar graph or, a heart that you fill up and reduce or whatever works for you. So these events here are just very simple events. This is just a simple portal transfer. It's moving me to another map so that I could show that, basically what you have to do on the other map to make this continuously visible. If you don't copy at least one of these events over here on other maps, then you won't be able to continue to have that health and icon updated. This here is just a simple healing event, right? I just made a quick, simple healing event. It changes the hit points for my purposes, the entire party, just because I'm lazy, increases it by 50. And then I have two attributes here, or two, I should say, I have two variables. Variable 257, player attribute number, is set to the hit points of the character that I was using, Reed. So when you're in here, right, you're in the control variable, and I select my control variable. I'm setting it to game data, and part of that game data is you can select actor, you can select the actor you want, and then you can select a variety of things like hit points. And hit points is what they currently have for hit points versus their max hit points. That's how much they can have. And that doesn't change unless you change their max hit point. So the max hit point is not what goes up and down when they get hurt or healed. The hit points is. So you can pick any of these, of course, there's a variety of things, but this is how I set that. And then I did the same thing for this variable, 258, player HP equals hit point of Reed. And I probably don't need both of these to do the same thing, but the way I built it originally, I wasn't having it play off of Reed's hit points. I was having it play off of a variable that I set for hit points because I was just messing around with something. So I probably don't need two different variables, but I just have them, so I didn't change it. So that's a very simple healing event. This is a transfer, this is a healing, and then this event is just very quickly to reduce hit points, right? So I have the text showing what's happening. It's changing the hit points, entire party, subtracting 75, and allowing death. So again, as a command in the event, change hit points. You can pick entire party or a particular actor. You can change it by a variable. You can increase, you can decrease. I'm doing a constant of 75. You could do it by a variable. And if you allow death, then that means it will kill your character or kill your party potentially and end the game. If you uncheck this, then it will stop at 1, as you can see on the text there. And that's what I did originally, and I couldn't figure out why it wasn't going below 1. But so that's very simple. And again, I'm having these variables update the hit point of Reed because I need that variable to be constantly displayed on the screen. So I'm using these variables for the display, and I need it to be updated every time Reed, either the party, either gets hurt or gets healed. So that's what this is doing. Okay, and again, if I were to just double click here, you're in your event commands. Here's the change hit point, right? Versus, yeah, so change hit point in this regard. Okay. All right. So now this is just the simple parts. The magic's happening over here on these invisible events. And the first one is just setting my variables. And I need to display the word health on the screen. I'm storing that string value in a variable player attribute. So right off the bat, I'm having this event run in parallel. So as soon as the map loads, this runs. It sets the control variable player HP to the HP of Reed. It sets the player attribute to the string of health, and then it sets the player attribute number to hit points of Reed. Again, I could probably do away with one of these. Then it does the control self switch A to on so that it advances the page, so that this page is the highest page where the conditions are met. And there's no image still, it's action button, so it's not running in parallel. Basically, it turns this event off. So now it's not going to do anything. Whereas here, if I didn't have this self switch, it's going to keep running in parallel, just over and over and over and over and over again, resetting these, which I don't want to happen. So the first thing this does is it sets these attributes or sets these variables. And then this event is running continuously. So it's a parallel event. And it's below the character, it's off the map, the walkable map, there's no image, the player can't see it, they can't interact with it, but it's running in parallel, so it's going to keep running over and over and over and over and over again until I tell it to stop. And this is what updates the heart icons on the screen. So it's very simple the way it does it. I have a series of conditional branches, conditional checks. So if player HP, which is set to the HP of Reed, if player HP is greater than or equal to 500 and Reed's max HP is 544, then what it's going to do is it's going to use the plugin. There's two yeah, one plugin that comes as a default that you can turn on, and this is the text picture plugin. And so it's going to essentially set the variable 256, which was that string of health. It's going to make that, essentially it's going to use that variable to make the text health into a picture. And then the next line is going to be show picture, picture 1, and it's blank. I've used this before in some of my other tutorials. And then this is saying where to put that word health. So the plugin command is very simple. You pick your plugin, which in this one it's text picture, and then command name, which this one only has one. This tells you what it does. You have a text. You double click. You type the text you want. And I've shown in previous tutorials that this behaves very much like the show text option in the event commands. So I'm just doing /v in brackets 256. So I'm saying show me variable 256 as text. And then here is that plugin requires that you have a blank image because the text actually becomes your picture. So you have a blank image. You have to give it a picture number. So this is the first picture. And then you have to designate where it's going to go. So I used upper left for where the picture is going to the pixels are going to start to be set. And I just chose an X of 50, Y of 500. The scale is 100%. I find most of the time the text picture is good at 100%. Didn't mess with opacity or the blended mode, but you can do that. And that will show the word health on the screen. And then I repeat it for the icons. So this is the same plugin command, text picture, only this time the text is just showing as many icons as appropriate. The heart icon. Our icon 84 is the heart icon. So /i in brackets 84 and then /i brackets 84. And I do that 6 times because what this is saying is if the player's HP is greater than 500, I want to show 6 heart icons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then this is the thing that has to go with the plugin, show picture. So it has to be a different picture, number 2. Again, it's blank. And then I just played with the X and Y coordinates to get it to show the icons underneath the word health. And then one more time, I did the same plugin command, text picture, only this time the text was set to variable 257, which is actually the number for the hit point of Reed. So to begin with, it starts at 544 because that's his hit points. And then again, it has to have a show picture. So show picture number 3. No, it's blank because the text is going to be the picture. And then I just messed with the X and Y values to get it to show where I wanted it to. So this is what makes it go health. This is what makes it go the number, 544 to begin with. And then this makes the icon, heart icons appear underneath the word health and the number. And then it's just that same conditional branch, just slightly different. So if the player's hit points is greater than 500, do this. If it's not, it's going to go down here and check this. If the player's hit points are less than 500, but greater than or equal to 400, so 2 conditional branches, nested conditional branches. You could do this another way with scripts, but this is just an easy way to do it with 2 conditional branches. So if it's less than 500, and then underneath that, if player hit points is greater than or equal to 400, do the exact same thing. So this is health, this is the number, but now it's only 5 icons, 5 health icons instead of 6. And then the next one does the exact same thing. If the player hit points is less than 400, and if the player hit points is greater than or equal to 300, this is exactly the same. It's appearing in exactly the same locations, except now there's only 1, 2, 3, 4 heart icons. And then this one is the same thing, conditional branch. If player hit points is less than 300, if player hit points is greater than or equal to 200, do the exact same thing, but only show me 3 heart icons. And then the next one, as you can see, it follows the same pattern. I'm copy and pasting and just changing values. If player hit points is less than 200, if player hit points is greater than or equal to 100, do exactly the same thing, but show me 2 heart icons. And then the last one is if it's less than 100 but greater than or equal to 1, do the same thing but only show me 1 heart icon. So when you go through, one of these has to be true as long as Reed has hit points, and it will show the appropriate number of heart icons. It's going to wait 10 frames, so 10 sixtieths of a second, so 1/6 of a second, and then it's going to repeat. So it's constantly checking to see if Reed's hit points have changed, if they've gone up or down, and do I need to take away an icon or add an icon. And again, it maxes out at 544. That's the max HP. That is all this event is doing, and it runs continuously. And what I did was, I don't know what I changed, but it doesn't matter. We'll just do that. What I did was on this map, it's taking me to this map over here. And so I just copied and pasted that same event. If you don't copy and paste this into this map, what will happen is your health and the number and the icons will still show up, but they won't change. So if you get healed, if you get hurt, they'll just stay the same until you go back to this map where the event is actually running, right? So once I leave the map, this event stops running, but it doesn't take away the pictures that were on the screen. So I have to copy this event on however many maps I have where I want to show it. So that's all I did. I copied and pasted this exact same event so that when you transfer to this map, it just picks up where the other one left off. And then I copied and pasted this one where the event can hurt you to show that it's, removing the hearts like it's supposed to. And that's it. That's pretty much the entire thing. So, realistically, I have a transfer event, so I can just show I can go to another map and it doesn't change anything. I have a healing event so that I can, show that the hearts come back when the character is healed. I have the damage event to take hit points away and to potentially kill the player. I have the initial event that runs once to set the variables that I need, right? One of them being the string health that's going to be showing on the screen to the player. And then I have this one, which does all the work. It just continuously checks, right? Basically, it checks 6 times a second. Probably that's a little excessive, but still, it checks, it waits 10 sixtieths of a second, 1/6 of a second, and it just cycles through this endlessly until it stops, until you tell it to stop, right? Or the game's over or whatever. And it just checks these conditional branches. So the first one is not nested, and then these are nested to get the in between. And again, you could do it with scripts to not have this, but this is also very easy to do with eventing. And then for the icon, all I did was I went up to the database and I went to items or anything, and you can just double click on the icon, and then I found the heart that I wanted, and when I click on it, right, it tells me it's icon 84. And if I didn't know that was down here, I could just click OK, and now it says icon 84. So that's how I can find any icon that I want to use for these purposes. And again, I was just lazy, right? I could have used a different image down here, but I just wanted to test the functionality. So I decided I'll use icons because icons are easy to display on the screen using this button text picture. Okay. And once again, the way you actually do that is, if you don't remember from my previous things, if you double click or right click and click edit or whatever, but anyway, if I right click, I click new, and if I double click, it just opens up the event commands. I go to the last page for plugin commands, and then you have to have your plugins loaded, right? So here, I'm only using 2 plugins. These come with MZ, button picture and text picture. You just have to turn them on. And in a previous tutorial, I showed you how to turn them on, but one of those is Plugin Manager. So when you click Plugin Manager, it will show you what plugins you have, okay, and which are on and which are off, right? So button pictures on, text pictures on, change equipment, alt menu screen, and I have a couple of that are off. You can just turn them on and off. And if I were to double click, this is how I would find more plugins if I had them. Click here. These are all the plugins I have. Okay. And then, you just go from there. So that's it. That's how you can display something on the screen, and how you can take some away or change the visuals to show that you're losing hit points, you're gaining hit points, what have you. Now, obviously, you'd have to make this bigger if you had more characters that you wanted to show. Maybe you have 4 characters that you want to show their information on the screen, and therefore this event would have to be doing the same types of checks for all of your characters in your party. But that's just adding more stuff to it. You just have to take the time to do conditional branches for each one, right? You'd have to do one for you'd have to have or you could have, so you could do it in one event. So this one event could be checking all your party members and updating it. That would probably be better than having 4 events for 4 party members all running in parallel simultaneously. But that just takes a little bit more work on your part. So anyway, I hope that helps. Again, this is just testing the mechanic. It's the concept. You can take this, modify it, do whatever you want to with it, change the visuals, get better things to track the hit points with, whatever. But this just shows you how you can display like an attribute on the screen, the numbers, have it go up and down, and have some visual representation that also changes based on the numbers changing. Again, hope this helps, folks. If it does, please consider liking, subscribing, getting notifications, leaving comments. I have a ton of more stuff to show that I've built and I've been working on. It just all depends on when I have time to do a video like this. So I will try. But in the meantime, if you have questions, let me know. Feel free to leave comments. Happy gaming. And I will try to get some more stuff up. And in the meantime, I will see everybody later. Bye.